College Art Gallery. Since arriving here at Berkeley, Jessy has continued to pursue matters of exhibition, outreach, and public good, whether here on campus or beyond, as a young scholar in a fully international field. She was invited to join the graduate level Mellon-sponsored exhibition seminar, which culminated in the exhibition titled The Papyrus in the Crocodile, that is currently on view in the gallery of the Bancroft Library. If you're going to have time on campus this afternoon, I highly recommend this wonderful exhibition prepared by the students under the tutelage of Professors Margareta Lovell and Pat Berger. Jessy has also worked as a research assistant for the Architectural and Cultural History of the Women's Faculty Club on campus. Further, she has shown her dedication to the collaborative development of opportunities for history of art majors here at the university, serving in a leadership role in HART, our undergraduate association. Finally, Jessy's ambitious honors thesis, which explored the arts of memorialization in the former Yugoslavia at the site of the Sutjeska Memorial Park, took her to Bosnia-Herzegovina for funded field research, featuring an epic overland journey by camper to reach her site, accompanied by 2 PhD students from the University of Belgrade as colleagues. This work received high honors in history of art and a prize from Berkeley's Institute of International Studies. Happily, we can report that Jessy's journey in art history has only just begun. She's been admitted to the PhD program in Northwestern University and will begin her studies in the fall. We congratulate Jessy on her many achievements. Please welcome valedictorian Jessy Bell. Jessy, I'm pouring you a glass of water. Seems the thing to do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You want me to get this out of your way?
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Hi. Thank you, Chairperson Bonnie Way, professors, distinguished guests and participants, University of California, Berkeley staff, family, friends, peers, fellow students. I am pleased to address you today on behalf of the graduating students. My first thought when I received word that I was to deliver the valedictory here today was, more homework? My second and far more lasting thought was how humbling it is to be asked to address the common experience of such a diverse, talented, and accomplished group of graduating seniors. Thank you for this extraordinary honor. Like most of my cohort, I have learned much in courses on methods, American art, Asian art, and many other recognized art topics and traditions. But my own focus here at Berkeley has been dedicated to that which lies on the margin, examining the overlooked by looking back, and investigating the cultural and political stakes of choice, exclusionist history-making in the field of art history. To study the memorializing arts of the former Yugoslavia, I crossed disciplines and countries to arrive at a new space of inquiry where visual culture, nationalisms, and historic suffering intersect. There is not a history of Yugoslav art, but this nation, invented in 1918 in the shadow of World War I, reinvented in 1943 during World War II, renegotiated in the decades after, and finally dissolved during ferocious civil wars in the 1990s, has much to memorialize. Experiencing the Sutjeska Memorial Park in person, deep within the forests of Bosnia-Herzegovina, was unforeseeably astonishing. The Memorial Park, once intended as a place of collective memory for lives lost in World War II, now stands as a site of mourning for both a society and an avant-garde, which has become, at best, misremembered, and most often, omitted altogether. As a place too complicated to even define, Yugoslavia has for the most part been discounted as poor consolation for its contemporary non-existence. It is a state of marginalization, and it's this state that drew me to the former Yugoslav lands. To confront the challenge of unfolding objects of memory given such a complex and unresolved history, I required guidance and support from mentors unfazed by a little heterodoxy. The unflinching support of the faculty and range of the inquiry available in this institution allowed me to consider art, politics, and war in conversations in space that often precipitated controversy. This has only been possible because this department here has encouraged and outright championed my research of spaces in between that to which history is already well anchored. This is just one snapshot of how dynamic and remarkable this department is, one that most of us are now leaving today. As we move forward, it is understandable that we will also look back. We will remember the feeling of our hearts racing as we walked up the palatial steps of Doe Library for the very first time. We will remember getting lost in the maze that is Dwinelle. We will remember the sound of the bells in the campanile. I especially loved hearing the 15-minute-long rendition of Danny Boy on St. Patrick's Day. We will remember how the grass smelled while we laid on the lawns, dodging surprisingly aggressive panhandling squirrels. And we will remember the day a professor changed the way we saw the world in a single lecture. For me, it is the moments in between classes that I will cherish most. Waiting outside a closed door on a cold linoleum floor, often deep underground in the dungeon that is the sub-basement of Moffat Library. We spend our few moments of respite discussing our anxieties, sharing our fears, encouraging one another, and exchanging ideas. These in-between moments were where we made friends and found solace. As a small department, we, students of art history, depended on one another in order to define our allegiance to such a large and illustrious institution. During my time here, I did not attend a single football game, or basketball game, or any other typical unifying event from which we are told school spirit explicably materializes. But I will never forget the day when a team of us drove through 5 o'clock traffic to Stanford University to have the opportunity to hear former professor of art history at Berkeley, Svetlana Alpers, give a lecture. You were there. There were no cheerleaders, no marching bands, but our cowl shirts and insignia stood out clearly and proudly amongst the crowd. The diversity of our group, our backgrounds, our interests, our areas of study has been one of the most enjoyable and enlightening aspects of my time here. From 15th century illuminated manuscripts to gender studies and French Rococo, from Japanese contemporary photography to protest art in modern India, the variety of subjects explored by the graduating class of 2016 have stimulated and enriched our projects and perspectives. In intimate groups guided by professors and graduate students, we learned how to see through the eyes and experiences of others. Yet, there is one thing that we each have in common. We have selected the field of art history to serve as the podium from which we will make ourselves heard. One of the most critical characteristics of art history is having the knowledge and bravery to ask important questions. I say both knowledge and bravery, but I do not necessarily mean in that order. Part of the development of any academic field is in the challenging and furthering of established or historical conventions to agitate the status quo. To achieve this goal, we will need to remain brave and to learn as we go, and to push past limits, even our own. As we begin our next adventure, we must be ready to cherish what makes each of us different, and in doing so, celebrate the margin as well as the center. As I have spoken to my fellow students here today, I would like to now expand this address to everyone here, because really, we are all students. And no, those of us graduating today are not excluded from this. Because regardless of what mountains we stand before and what paths we choose to take, and no matter our starting point, the greatest thing we can do for ourselves and for the world is to never stop learning. Each challenge is an opportunity to learn, not just about the conditions we face, but about ourselves. I heard recently a remark about a lobster that I really liked, which doesn't happen often. Lobsters shed their exoskeletons in order to grow only after they've become uncomfortable. Well, I hope we all remain a little uncomfortable, and as a result, continue to grow. On my first day here, when my heart was racing and I was lost into an L, and the sound of the campanile was as intimidating as it was referential, I reached out to a mentor, confessing to her my feelings of inadequacy and incongruity. She told me not to fear, and that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. She was right. I was. I am. You are. I've spoken both of the past, our time here on campus, and of the future, as we go forth bringing about revolution. Or, well, maybe we'll just revolutionize art history. We can start there. I would like to take a moment to remark on our present, however. Here, in this brilliant new facility for the public display of art, take a moment, look around, see this congregation of scholars, leaders, mentors, family, friends, and peers. This is for you, and you have earned it. Be bold, be brave, and be heard.